Good day, everyone. Hope you guys are good. I'm excited for this journey, and I hope I am able to, what's the word, take everyone on this journey with me from the inception, from the beginning. Are we together? From the basics to a professional level, a level where you are comfortable in knowledge. Are we together? You are comfortable in knowledge and then you are able to apply knowledge by yourself after I have been able to guide you in the proper path. You are able to use this knowledge you have gotten and then use it to, do good things for yourself and all of that. Are we together? So we are going to be going through the basics together and then climbing our way all the way to the top and then to a level where you can call yourself a professional forex trader. Are we together? So, without wasting much of our time, one of the basic concepts you need to get very familiarized with as a forex trader is the concept of support and resistance, right? You must have heard of it before or not. You must have heard of it before or not, but we are going to be going through it in just a minute and we would see how you can make proper use of this concept. Notice I said make proper use of these concepts because there are a lot of misconceptions out there. There are a lot of informations out there. Like everybody wants to post something on YouTube, everybody wants to teach, but then most people forget that they need to give proper education. It is not about the likes and everything. It is about what are you giving? Are you giving the proper education? So that's what I am here to correct. And stay with me. You are in a very, very safe hands. I hope you are looking forward to reaching or attaining that professional level where you can in turn do good things for yourself. So now, moving on, so I told you we were going to start with the concept of support and resistance. Now I would like to give you a simple analogy of what this concept is. Imagine you're in a room, right? And you have a ball in the middle of the room and you hit the ball, a bouncing ball obviously. You hit the ball on the floor and then the ball finds support on the floor and then what happens to the ball? It reverses and goes to the top, right? When it gets to the top, the most logical thing is supposed to meet is the ceiling, isn't it? When it gets to the ceiling, what is the ceiling expected to do to the ball? It is supposed to resist the ball from going above the ceiling. Hence, the ball bounces back to the floor, right? And so on and so forth. So when it gets to the floor, it finds support again. Are we together? Find support again, and then if the energy used in bouncing the ball was so high, the ball could eventually find support again and then go back to the resistance. Are we together? So I hope this concept, you understand the analogy behind this concept a little bit now, because I'm going to dive deeper into it. So let's use this example right here. So I drew this out already, and then I would like you to follow my mouse here so you'd see exactly what I'm doing here. So you notice price, whatever you want to call it, price, market, or the ball, whatever you want to call it in this example. Just make sure you are following me, right? Notice this is the inception of price or the ball, and then it bounced all the way to the top, and then found what here? Found resistance here, right? So now let's bring this text. Let's bring this text here. This is resistance, and then after the ball found resistance here, it went to the ground, it went back to the ground and then found support here. Are we together? It found support here. So now after finding support, what's the logical thing for the ball to do? It is for it to go back to the top, right? So now let's say because of the force or the weight used in bouncing this ball, it broke through this resistance, yes, and then found another resistance here because as you can see, it got here. Let me bring a, yes. So it got here and then reversed, right? It reversed at this point. It is safe to call this a resistance. Are we together? Please, I hope you're following me. It is safe to call this point a resistance. So now let's bring our text tool here. In fact, these 2 points are called resistance because, as you can see, it came here, then found support here. This is also a support, right? Came here, found support, and then came back to the resistance and found resistance again, and so on and so forth. It could keep going like that, keep going like that, keep going, keep finding support, resistance, keep coming down. This could also be a support again, keep going back up, resistance, and so on and so forth. It doesn't go in a straight line. It is not linear. It is very, very wavy. Are we together? It is very, very wavy. So I hope you are able to understand the concept of support and resistance here. If not, don't worry, you are in a good hands. We are still going to look into more examples, right? So, as you can see, one important thing I want to point out here is the fact that a resistance can eventually turn to a support, or a support can eventually turn to a resistance, whatever the case may be. Are we together? So now if you look closely at this example that I'm giving you here, you'd notice that when from the inception, price rocket or skyrocketed up to the resistance here, yes, then came down, found support, right? Remember we called this a resistance at the first place, right? Came all the way to this resistance and then came back here to find a support, right? What did we call this line before? It was a resistance before, and now it is a support. Just put that at the back of your mind, right? A resistance can turn to support. Now, before we move further, I'd like to point out something that everyone learning this should take note of. Whenever you are learning things like this, it is very, very advisable to get a sheet of paper, get a pen, and jot things down. I mean, I think I've pointed out two things here that is very important. You should never forget it, and I feel like you should jot it down. Now, the reason why I say jot things down is because it helps your brain develop a proper understanding. It helps your brain develop a deeper understanding to whatever it is you are learning than any other person that is just watching and not jotting things down. Why do I say so? Because during your free time, whenever you are free or less busy, you can just go back to whatever it is you wrote, read it, and think about it. That is the process of learning. Yes? So there is input, right? There's input. The input into the process now is you watching this video, right? And then there's output. The output is that after watching this video, you should get a result. But in between the input and output, there is a middle black box, right? And that black box simply signifies or represents the effort, the personal effort you put into it, into understanding whatever it is you are learning on a deeper level, right? So you can watch this video and still not understand. What separates you from who understands and who doesn't understand is the extra effort you put into after watching this video. I pray God gives us understanding on that. So now, let's move forward. I think I've done justice to this example right over here. So now let's go into the real life example. So we are going to be using this instrument, this currency instrument called Euro USD, as you can see over here. So if you are not familiar with what we are using here, we are using a trading platform called TradingView, right? It is a platform used to do analysis. This is what every forex trader uses to do their analysis. And yes, so what we are basically going to do here is the basics, right? We are starting from the basics. No, nothing too complicated. We just want to be able to find proper support and resistance in the market, right? um don't worry guys, if I let me take all of this away so you're not confused with what's at the top. Good. So yes, I'm excited. I'm super excited. So Our aim here is to find proper support and resistance here, right? So I'm just going to go through it. Okay, so good. Let's start from the inception of price, right? As we explained at the beginning. Inception of price. Price went to the top here, and then if you notice, reversed here, reversed here. It is safe to call this place a resistance, right? It is safe to call this a resistance. Now let's move on. If you notice, after all of this, it came up, came all the way to the top, and then found another resistance here. Am I right? Good. So I would pick this as another resistance point, right? Good. And then came here. Are we together? Came here. If you notice, there is a sharp rejection here. I'm also going to pick this as a support point, right? Good. I'm going to pick this as a support point. After all of this, it came all the way. Where's the next place? He found proper rejection. He found proper rejection here, right? After all of this fall, notice he just rejected here, right? And then after rejecting, he kept on going, and then found rejection here, found rejection here, found rejection here, found rejection here. So I would have to, when it comes to things like this, I would have to find a way to get these 4 rejections on one spot. It wouldn't make sense for me to drop a resistance here, Abi, drop another resistance here, right? Drop another resistance here. It gets so confusing. In fact, the lines are starting to, you know, the lines are too much at this point. So you'd have to find a way to what's it called, catch as many rejection points as possible with a single line. That is why when it comes to proper forex trading, proper using of support and resistance, we do not use lines. Are we together? We do not use lines. We make use of something way proper called zones. Are we together? Now let me take away all of these lines because it's too much, and let me explain how we make use of a zone. So I'm going to start with where this thing started to confuse us, right? So you noticed when we got here, we saw the need to draw at least 4 lines here to catch all of these places, to catch all of these rejection points, right? But what if there was a way to catch the whole 4 rejection points with just a zone? Now, the thing is, when we say support zone, resistance zone, it is abi support line, resistance line, it is never a line. It is an area, right? It is an area of support. It is an area of rejection. Are we together? Sorry, of support or resistance. Area of support or area of resistance. Are we together? Good. So now let's point this out. Let's let's do this properly. Okay, so I'm just going to start from the proper beginning again. I wouldn't start from here. I would start from, let's analyze it, like let's find the support and resistance together using a zone this time around instead of a line, right? So I hope you guys are following me, and I hope you guys are taking notes because it's very important. So like I said before, no, let me start from here. Okay, this was the first resistance point, right? Good. So the good thing to do this, the good way to do this thing is by going back in time, finding areas that are of interest to you, and then bringing it to the present. Are we together? So if you notice, I am here from the inception, that's 1973 or so, right? And then I would have to bring this, whatever it is I am doing here, bring it to the beginning of time. Are we together? Good. So um let's let's take it to the beginning of time. Good, exactly. So if you notice, I hope you guys are following me here. If you notice, price rejected here, right? Price rejected here, price rejected here. If you look closely, price rejected here, price rejected here. Are we together? Price rejected here too. If you look closely, it's rejected in all of these places. Now, if it was to be a line I was using, I'd have to draw a line here, draw another line here, draw another line here, and if in case in future it comes here, I'll have to draw another line here. But no, I've been able to take out all of these rejection zones with just one zone. Are we together? So now let's find another rejection zone, right? I would say this is another major rejection zone. Yes, I'll say this is another major rejection zone. So I'm going to take it to the future, like how we've been doing. Yes. Okay, that's calm. That's calm. So let me just adjust it properly. So make sure I'm catching everywhere properly. Good. So don't worry, I'll show you what I'm doing here. So um notice we use this rejection zone, this resistance zone, right? Notice it bounced all of off, it bounced off here, yeah, and then came down. Are we together? Came here, rejected, broke out, came here again, rejected. Are we together? Hold on, ignore the supports, let's find the resistance. Came here, rejected. Are we together? Rejected, rejected, rejected. Are we together? So if you notice, let's now find it. Let's look at it. You know, it was a support before, it was a resistance before. Let's look at it as a support. It came all the way here, rejected, came here, rejected, came here, rejected, came here, rejected. Are we together? So all of these things shows confluence that this is a proper support or resistance zone or level, right? Now let's look for another rejection level now. Let's look for another rejection level. Now remember this one that we were talking about there. Good. Remember this one we were talking about here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We needed to find a way to catch the 4 levels, right? Now this is how I'll simply do it. This is how I'm just going to simply do it. Good. So good. So this is a rejection level. This is another rejection level. Why do I call this another rejection level? Because if you go to a higher time frame, now this is a monthly time frame. If you go to a higher time frame, you notice that this is just a fake out, right? This all of these things is really not proper market, right? It was just a fake out to phase people out of the market. Are we together? So yes, basically this is a rejection zone, this is another rejection zone, this is another rejection zone. Now the reason why I picked here and then I didn't bring it here is because I have more zones rejecting off of this place than here. Now let me show you something. Are we together? Let me tell you something first of all, and I want you to write this down. Very important. The more at which price rejects at a particular zone, the more stronger that zone is, the more reliable, the more trustworthy that zone is. Please write it down. Very important. Are we together? The more price rejects at a particular zone, the more important that zone is. Say for instance, look at this now. Price rejected here once, 2, 3. Are we together? 4. Let's ignore all of this. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Price has rejected this zone 9 times. If this zone tell me to put my hand in fire, I will put my hand in that fire. Because it is very, very trustworthy. It has rejected it 9 times, right? It is a very legit level, right? Good. Now, instead of putting it here, what if I put it here? Remember, price rejected it 9 times here. What if I had put it here? It's rejected here 1, 2, 3, right? 4. All of this I really wouldn't call it a rejection. That's 4. 5. Rejected it just 5 times. And I have here rejected it 9 times. Which one is proper? Definitely 9 times. right? So that's another thing you need to consider when drawing out your support and resistance levels, because the more at which a level is being rejected or tested, the more at which it is a important level. So when you're in doubt on where to put your resistance or your support, either you don't know where to put it, maybe you don't know, maybe you want to put it here, or you don't know if you are supposed to put it here. Just count the amount of times it has been tested in each of those levels, and then that will determine, which one is more trustworthy. Are we together? So moving on, let's look for more support and resistance levels. Okay, I think yes, we can now catch that one that we wanted to catch before, because like it or not, it is also a resistance level. It is a major resistance level. So cut it here, 1 2. Let me see if I can bring it a little bit good, so you can catch more levels. I hope you are following the point here, so you can catch more levels. So for now, it's count 1 2 3 4. I wouldn't call this, then 5. So that's good enough. Is there any other level here we are? Okay, good. I think I missed this level before, so I would also call this a proper level. Starting from here. Uh, good. So one thing I would like you to understand when drawing these zones is that, and I hope you are able to write this down because it is very important. Please make sure you are writing this down. One thing I want you to take note of is that um when you are drawing your support and resistance zones with a zone like this, please always try as much as possible to make it small. Are we together? Make it a sizable amount, because you do not want to give room for errors. You do not want to give room for over. So normally the proper rejection zone could be about, let's say 20 pips, and then you made your rejection zone very very fat, something like this. You have started to give room for errors. Do you get? So the to be on the safer side, it is always good to make your zones as small and neat as possible. Are we together? Just the most important thing is catch as many weeks, catch as many zones, rejection zones as possible, and make it reasonably small, right? And make it reasonably neat. That is the basics of this whole thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have been able to, we've been able to analyze. No, we've not analyzed. It is way deeper than that. But we've been able to point out, you know, basic support and resistance zones. As we move further, you would notice that we have different types of support and resistance zones. We have this linear support and resistance. We have dynamic, the one they call the trend line, also known as dynamic support and resistance zones. We have major support and resistance zones, and we have minor support and resistance zones. Are we together? So these are the things I'm going to explain for you on this journey. Just sit back, relax, and then hope for the best in this class, or in this boot camp. That's what I'm going to call it, because it's a training boot camp. Now let's look at another example. You know, let's look at this instrument. Let's look for proper support and resistance zones here. So I'm just going to take all of this away. I was doing something before. So um yes, let's look at it from the beginning, and then let's point out proper support and resistance zones here. Let me enlarge it a bit so we can see. Good. So like I said, this is your rectangle. We use the rectangle tool, just in case you didn't get that. We use the rectangle tool to you know get all of these rejection zones. So the first thing we need to do is to look for rejection zones. Where has price rejected? Are we together? Price has rejected here. So this is one place I would want to put. This is one place I would like to put my zone. Good. Good, good, good. Um, good. So, just going to do this by myself. Um, good. Another level can be here. Okay, good, good. This is another level. Good. Another level can be here. Very good. Another level. Nope. Another level can be here. See, I'm pointing out, I'm just looking for the proper rejection zones. Right? Good. So, and notice notice I did not come here to come and draw a resistance zone or a support zone because I don't need it. Most of these lines I don't need it, right? But then as we go further, you notice that don't worry, as we go further, you notice that you really don't need all of these lines. I'm just doing this so you are able to point out resistance zones by yourself. Are we together? I'm just doing this so you can be able to point it out by yourself. Let's take one more example now. We have at least 4 minutes because I never want any video to be more than 30 minutes or else it starts boring people out. Should we do Bitcoin? Let's do Bitcoin now. Yes, let's do Bitcoin. Let me take all this drawing away. So now Bitcoin, to look at Bitcoin, we have our rectangle tube. Um the first rejection zone obviously is here, but I don't need it. Let me just go to something quite recent. Not like it's that recent anyways, but then just for understanding sake, normally this is a resistance or this is a support because it bounced off, just so you know. Next we'll have this, right? 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 And as simple as that. Look at how we've been able to draw proper support and resistance levels. Abi? Eh, so this is what's going to happen. So in the group, I'm going to tell you what pairs to analyze. No. I will tell you what pair to point out the support and resistance levels. Are we together? And you'd send it to the group and they would, check it together, learn better together. So I think I've been able to do justice to the first basic concept of this class, which is the support and resistance. The next class we are going to take um is going to be on trend lines. That's the dynamic support and resistance, but we conventionally call it trend lines. We don't call it that other long name. So I hope you've been able to get one or two values here. Don't worry, we are starting from the inception. I'm taking you by hand. I am taking you together. We are together in this. Don't be worried. Don't be scared. I'm going to take you to the level of whereby you have strong psychology. You have strong psychology. You are not scared. You have a proper thought pattern. Are we together? So sit back, relax, and then be hopeful for the next class. Thank you very much.